Here we are, and welcome back to this week's episode of Guardians and Gladiators. My name is Lauzie, and it's great to be back again for this week's episode. We are in Stratford today for this taping for a Special Olympic floorball tournament that's happening at the high school here. And yeah, it's a nice freezing day out today, but the sun is shining. Anyways, let's get to today's guest. He played in the Ontario Hockey League with the Peterborough Petes for all his 4 years there. He went on to be the few unsigned players to make it to the NHL to the Detroit Red Wings. Won the Stanley Cup with the Detroit Red Wings in 2002. Folks, here he is, Jason Williams.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So how when you played for the Peterborough Petes and going undrafted but signing as a free agent into the NHL, how did that come about?
Just kind of, I was playing in the OHL, obviously. The league and the draft and everything like that. A lot of the players were bigger players. So if you were under 6 feet, I know that some teams, Buffalo was one of them for sure, that couldn't even write a report on a player that was under 6 feet. They told their scouts that if there was a player that was under 6 feet, don't even write a report. We're not drafting them. So I don't know if other teams were like that as well. But no, my last 2 years of junior, I had fairly decent seasons as like individually, but as a team, we didn't have a whole lot of success. We were kind of just a team that got into the playoffs and then got roasted pretty much in the first round. So, that kind of hurt because, I wasn't being looked at a whole lot. But then that summer, I got a phone call from Detroit, and they had invited me to camp. And, I went through their minor league system, their draft picks and things like that. And being a right-handed centerman, being able to play right wing and center, they didn't have a whole lot in their system. And they've been so good for so long that they didn't have a ton of draft picks or a ton of up-and-coming players. So I thought this might be a good fit. I didn't think that, obviously I didn't think there was no chance in hell I was going to make the team. But, I ended up going to their camp and doing well. And I was the last forward that they sent down to the minors. And I remember getting sent down with Todd Gill, who I had watched for years when he played with the Leafs and things like that. So it was kind of interesting going down to the minors with him. But, yeah, went down to the minors and kind of started my professional career.
That was the first time around when you went to Detroit, right?
Yes. Yep.
And then you went off to play in Europe the first time, or did you stick around the American Hockey?
No, I was in basically Cincinnati for a couple of years, and then I got called up a couple times. Then they moved their affiliate team to Grand Rapids, and I spent a year in Grand Rapids. Then we had the NHL lockout in 2005. And then I went over to Europe to play in Finland because, obviously I needed to play. I was still young, and, it didn't do me any good sitting around not being able to play. But I couldn't play in the American Hockey League. I can't remember what reason it was, but so I ended up going over to Europe and playing in Finland.
Let's bring that up. 2002. We're playing with great legends on that team. You had probably one of the best Canadian born playing players, Steve Yzerman and Brandon Shanahan, and probably one of the best defensemen besides Bobby Orr was like Nick Lindstrom on the defense there. And then, in my opinion, was probably the greatest goaltender in the world of Dominik Hasek playing on this legendary team. How did that, when that season started, was there a feeling like this is the team that's going to win that Stanley Cup that year?
Yeah, definitely going into training camp. For myself, seeing the signings over the summer, I was like, oh, geez, it looks like I'll be spending most of my time in the minors because we signed Brett Hall, Luke Robitaille, and Dominic Hasek. So, it was unfortunate for me in a way where I wasn't going to be able to probably stick with the team. But hey, like to add guys like that, if you get a chance to add those guys, then you're going to add them. So, yeah, I spent most of my time in Cincinnati that year. I was up and down throughout the year with some injuries and stuff, and then right after the Olympic break, kind of leading up to the Olympic break, I remember getting called up, and I stayed up the rest of the season. And we had obviously a lot of players playing in the Olympics that year, so they were resting guys, heading into the playoffs. And I think we had the President's Trophy kind of wrapped up around the Olympic break time. Like there was no one that was going to be able to catch us. So we, I got called up and played some games heading into the playoffs. And then I remember we were playing Vancouver in the first round, and there was discussions about me being in the lineup, me being out of the lineup, and then I was going back and forth with the assistant coaches whether I was playing or not playing. I ended up playing in the first couple of games, and we ended up losing those games. We went down 2-0 right away, lost both games at home, heading back to Vancouver. And I remember that bus ride from when we landed in Vancouver. It's about a 45-minute bus ride to the downtown area to the hotel that we were staying at. And we were being chased by, fans. They were hanging out the window saying that we sucked and that we were going to lose to the Vancouver team and everything like that. And then, we arrive at the hotel and those same guys are asking, Brett Hall, Luke Robitaille, Shanahan for autographs. And I was just like, oh, okay. But no, yeah, it was obviously an unbelievable team to be a part of. Like you said, we had Yzerman, Shanahan, Fedorov, Larionov, Hall, Datsuk. That was his first year. Lindstrom, Chelios, like you name it. Like there were so many good players, and it was I was very fortunate to be part of that. Obviously, a very small part of it, but it was great to be around those types of players to be able to learn. Especially as a young guy, I was trying to learn as much as I could, and try to soak in as much information as possible so that I could use it in years to come.
I remember the parade we had here in London for you that summer. I think I was probably one of the most excited person on the street watching you come by on the fire truck. Not
Yeah,
gonna
that
lie,
was
I ran right beside the fire truck on the sidewalk from every corner right to the market.
yeah, that was it was an awesome day. Something that I'll always remember. And yeah, it's just one of those things that you can't forget any of those things. It's winning Stanley Cup at 21 or 22. It was, you think, being on a team like that, you're year after year, you're going to be a contender. And then, just things happen, and I just, never really got close again. But, very, very, I know I'm very fortunate to be on a team like that and to be able to go through a playoff run and to see, now every year, teams that are going through the run and what they go through to win that thing. It's amazing to watch, and the game is continuing to get better and better, and it's exciting. And I'm glad that I was very fortunate to be on a team that was able to win one.
Yeah, that was a good year. Go back to Peterborough. What was your favorite place to when you were playing in junior to play on the road with against?
Favorite place? Well, obviously being from London, the Ice House was not a it wasn't a is what they get to play at now, but it was fun to come home and play in front of friends and family and stuff like that. But then just kind of going into some of the new arenas. I think Mississauga had a brand new arena. It was just at that time there was a few arenas that had just kind of been built, and so those would have been nice to play in. Ottawa was fun because they usually drew pretty well, had a good crowd. Any team that had a pretty good crowd was fun to play in. Oshawa was a lot of fun because it was such a big rivalry, um, and it was always a big important games anytime you played Oshawa. So I would say yeah, like probably like maybe Oshawa and Ottawa. That was kind of fun.
With the Peterborough, you did have some good guys playing with you there, like Sean Thornton, that won a Stanley Cup with Anaheim, and some good name players on that team too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sean Thornton, he was there my first and second year, I think it was. Yeah, just a hard-nosed player. Would stand up for his teammates, and he would do anything to protect his teammates. And it's one of the reasons why he played for such a long time, and he was very, very, very good at what he did, and very technical fighter. He wasn't a guy that was just going to go toe to toe. Like he could tie you up, and he could win fights in different ways. So he was really good. And I played with Scott Barney as well, who was a second round draft pick to the Los Angeles Kings. Curtis Foster spent some time in the NHL. Zach Burke was a goaltender of mine my first year. Cameron Mann. We had a really good team my first year after they won the OHL championship, and we ended up getting beat by Oshawa, who had Mark Savard, and he basically like that Oshawa team was pretty good. I think they ended up going on to win the OHL championship after they beat us in I think Game 7 in the second round.
From where you played in the NHL to now, how much has the game changed? From like taking the role of the enforcers out and making it more skill played than fighting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely changed. The game's obviously gotten faster. It's a lot younger. Um, I feel guys are coming in at a younger age. It's tough to stay with teams as an older guy. I think guys are kind of like taking off, maybe going over to Europe a little bit earlier and stuff like that in their careers. Um, you know, it's an exciting game for sure to watch. With the enforcers kind of being taken out, not a huge fan of it. I think um, there's a little bit more stick work at times. There's a few injuries here and there, but like again, it's fans definitely do want to see the odd fight. I think when you see just the other night, Tampa and Florida going at it again, and as much as they don't want the fighting in the game, like everybody loves it. Like everybody starts standing up, and they just like the fans are going crazy because they're fighting. You look at the uh, just I don't know. I just find that it's exciting for the fans to see. I don't think it should be taken out of the game. I think that obviously I wasn't a fighter, but uh, knowing the fact that if someone does something and you could drop the gloves and do something about it, it's just something that's there and it's always been there. And I think that there's still a part for it in the game of hockey.
What have you been doing lately now? I know you've been with the St. Thomas Stars as a coach now.
Yeah.
How long were you part of that organization?
This is my first year with the St. Thomas Stars. I was with the Strathroy Rockets for 5 years, um, and then just made the switch over to St. Thomas this past summer. But yeah, like I have my own hockey program that I'm pretty much on the ice every morning at 7:15, helping young kids with their skills and things like that. And then I help out with team practices here and there. I'm the coach mentor for Elgin Middlesex Canucks, so I help out with that organization. Um, my daughter and my son both play hockey as well, and then the coaching is something that I like doing. I enjoy, trying to help these young kids get to get to the next level in hockey, and hopefully, be able to live out, their dream of maybe playing in the NHL. So any type of advice or anything that I can do along their journey and help them, I want to try to do that. So I really enjoy the coaching part of it. I think it's when you retire, you miss being around the rink, you miss being in a dressing room and part of a team. And I feel that you know being a coach, that it kind of allows me to still be a part of a team, talking hockey a lot with my coaching staff, with Joe Doyle and my brother Darren Williams. um, it's fun. It's great to go to the rink and talk some strategies, and it's a lot of fun, and there's some ups and downs for sure, just like when you play, and how you deal with it. It usually makes you stronger as a person, and stronger as a coach. So, I really enjoy the kids. We've got a great group in St. Thomas right now, a very young group, but they're extremely talented. Um, each and every player on that roster I respect, and they work hard, and they give me everything that they have every practice and every game. Sometimes we don't get the result that we want, but it's definitely it's fun to be a part of for sure.
When you go with the junior B teams, when you go to different arenas to play and stuff, do you get the odd fan that will come up to you after the game? Oh, I remember you when you played with Dallas, or and stuff like that.
Yeah, the odd time. It doesn't happen too often. Um, but like, yeah, the odd person will come up and I say, "Oh, I remember you when you played for this team or that team." Obviously, I played for a few, so but yeah, no, it's nice. These the fans say that they remember or things like that. So, but yeah, no, it's like I said, it's fun to be a part of. I try to be a part of. Anytime the league puts on, prospect games or the McPherson tournament, things like that. I love being part of that and seeing some of the other kids around the league, and again, just trying to help them out. And if I can, be some type of positive influence on them, so that they can, move up, or if there's something, any type of advice that I could give them that will help them moving forward. It's great. Some of those players will call or send you a text message down the road and be like, "Hey, I really appreciate the things that you did for me, and the time that you took to watch video or whatever." And that's the rewarding part of it, is that that you're helping out someone else, and trying to help them become a better person, and hopefully a good hockey player at whatever level they play at.
Did you ever play into like any of the senior
Yeah.
teams around locally?
Yeah, I played when I first retired. I played in Brantford in the Senior A League for kind of maybe 2 years, and then they kind of went under. They didn't have a team anymore, and I ended up playing in Dundas, and played a couple years there. But you know, it for me, when I went over to Germany later in my career. I ended up fracturing my L5 vertebrae uh, in my back. So it's just one of those things that is always kind of, if anytime I do something really physical, and, kind of push myself a little bit, then my low back starts to kind of get pretty sore. So, as much as I still wanted to play, my body's sitting there telling me, no, you can't do this anymore. So, yeah, I just was able to play a few games here with Dundas, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. Getting to play again, and it was again just one of those atmospheres where you get into the rink and you with some good guys, and being in a dressing room, being part of a team, stuff like that. It was always fun, and uh, yeah, it was just one of those things that my back, I couldn't do it. Even to this day, yeah, I'll do some charity games here and there. Those are okay, like they're not taxing or anything like that, because it's not a, there's no body contact, there's no physical
Yeah.
where you're like exerting yourself every shift. So those are okay. But yeah, if I don't even play pickup hockey anymore. I like that's just I just play some charity games, and I'm on the ice helping out and practice and do skill stuff with young kids, and that's okay. My back's all right from that.
During one of the lockdowns, when you went to the to Europe to play, did you ever get to have a chance to play in the Spaniel Cup?
Yeah, I played in Switzerland for 2 years, and both years I played for Canada in the Spangler Cup. The first year, we had a lot of NHL guys on our team. Like we had Spezza, Tavares, Sam Gagne, Ryan Smith, um, Devin Dubnik, all kinds of like great NHL players and stuff like that. And I remember Thornton and Patrick Kane played for Davos. We ended up playing them in the final, and we ended up winning it that year. And well, on paper we should have. So, but that was a lot of fun. Great tournament to be part of, especially over in Switzerland. Davos is a beautiful city, and Switzerland's a beautiful country, and just being around there was a ton of fun. And the following year, we weren't as fortunate. We didn't win it, but it's still such a great tournament. Team Canada puts on a really good program for that, and invite over I think we had my wife has a pretty big family, so we ended up having I think 15 to 20 people come over and spend a week to watch, and they had a great time, and like I said, Team Canada did a great job, first class all the way.
With that term, that term is like is made up different than all the other international tournaments. Like it's like a two, you lose two, you're out kind of deal.
Yeah, kind of. It's you have to obviously be on your game, and you can't have too many games where you're not at your best. But yeah, like the in the round robin, we like I said, we did pretty good. We had a very talented team, and then I think if you win all three games in the round robin, you get like a pretty much a bye to the final, which is great because you're kind of more rested, and it's kind of a little bit of a big advantage if you're able to kind of win and be at the top, which gives you that extra kind of game off, and then the other teams have to kind of fight it out. So yeah, you definitely need to win your games when you're there.
The arena for that's like over 100 years old or something. It how is that playing in an arena built that way towards what we have have in North America?
Yeah, like just the inside of it, if you when you go inside and you look up, and it's just all like wood, and like big beams, and just something that you don't really get to see back here. And the atmosphere in Europe is so much more, well, so much different. Like it's almost like a college game in the U.S. and like watching an NCAA game, where like one side of the arena, usually at the end zones, will be just like bleachers, and
Yeah.
fans stand the entire game. They're chanting, they have their chants, their songs that they sing. Sometimes there's flags going around, and it's just definitely a different atmosphere. And the arena is absolutely beautiful inside. For being such an old arena, uh, it still looks so nice inside. I think they've done some renovations to it as of late. I think like a lot of the Davos minor hockey teams get to use that facility. They have like shooting things there, workout, weight room, all that kind of stuff. So they've done a really good job. And obviously, I think like Davos does get some money from the Spangler Cup, so they've used that money to put into the arena to continue to make it look really nice and stay up to date with everything.
That's one of my favorite tournaments to wake up early to watch. Just
Yeah, yeah,
the bigger ice surface all the time, and seeing what the referees would wear, because for a few years they looked like wearing cow suits, and
yeah.
it's
Oh
just
yeah,
just it's just different.
yeah. No, for sure, for sure. Yeah, no, it's if you have an opportunity to go, to see that Spangler Cup, even to stay in Davos, um, you know, if you, like I said, like it's we when we went there and I had a bunch of family members there, they said like to this day it's still one of their favorite vacations that they ever took was to Davos, and with the Alps and skiing, and like it's a small little town, but it's beautiful, especially in the wintertime. And it's a tournament definitely that if you have a chance to experience it as a fan or as a player, I'd highly suggest it.
That's one of the good tournaments I like always watching. Flipping back from the World Juniors to that, yeah, one of my favorite tournaments to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
With the change of women's hockey now, bringing in their own professional league, how is that the change of for them to do that? That's a massive change for women's hockey.
Yeah, no, it's great. I think that to provide a very high level professional league for them to play in. It gives a lot of young girls, who have aspirations of playing some type of professional hockey. There's a lot of good hockey players that come out of especially the organization here with the London Devilettes, the Blue Devils, or something like that. I think I can't remember what it was, but like to play at the a high level like that, and for some of these girls to achieve a dream like that, I think it's great. I from what I've seen, the fan support is really good, and they continue to grow the game, and I think it's great. Usually you only get to see the women's hockey kind of more at the Olympic level and stuff, but to have them have a league, that it's a professional league, just continues to grow the game. And yeah, I think it's great. It's great for women's hockey for sure.
Me and my daughter were watching one on TV. It was Toronto and Ottawa playing in the PHWL. And there was a rule that I had to look up because one of them were on a power play, but when Ottawa was on the power play, but when Toronto scored, it canceled the whole power penalty. I was like, "What the heck's this rule?" And I was like, "I wonder if the NHL would ever
There's been
adapt to that rule."
Yeah, there's been talk about that type of rule, and a few different rule changes. At the NHL level, even at our level, usually we're the guinea pigs, and in the OHL and things like that, where they'll try those rules out first at our level, and then if it ends up working out pretty good, then uh, they may adapt it into the NHL and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a couple different rules for sure, but some of them I like, some of them I probably don't like that much. But I don't mind that one. It's just something that's a little bit different, and yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I had to Google it, like, "What's this rule?" And they're like, "It's called the out of jail card or something," they call it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I guess they score and then it cancels out the whole penalty. Like, you go
yeah,
down on the
yeah,
score sheet, there was a penalty, but it doesn't go against the power kill or the 1-for-1 on the power kill or anything that, or 1-for-1 on the power play. It doesn't even show up on there. It's like, that is
yeah,
just the weirdest rule ever I seen, but I like it. It seems to get all like the top scores and the fast paced players that keep going instead of always circling in their zone trying to kill off a panel power play.
yeah, yeah. Just gives a little incentive to the penalty kills. If you can find a way to get a chance and take advantage of it and score, then obviously it kills that power play, and obviously you get a goal out of it. So I guess you can be a little bit more aggressive, maybe, to try to create offense when you're even short, and then when you're trying to create offense when you're a man down, then sometimes it will end up in the back of your net. So again, you're creating more offense, creating more goals. Um, I think that's what the fans want to see as well.
Have you been to a lot of have you been back to Detroit since you played for them and get to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
walk them
I
home
usually Yeah, no, I usually go once or twice a year with my family. It was nice to get back. I actually went back in November. We played the Detroit alumni played against the Shorzy, and that was a lot of fun. The Shorzy crew, just all a bunch of great guys, and what they've done with the TV show, and uh, the traveling around playing different NHL alumni and raising money for charity and stuff like that has been unbelievable. They've done a great job, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of. Like, I remember, I think last year was the first time they did it, and then this year was the second time. And I remember seeing highlights of it, and I was asked to play in the Shorzy game this year, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to miss that one. That was fun. So to get down there and to play at Little Caesars Arena and in front of a pretty packed crowd was brought back some nice memories for sure. And I haven't obviously been able to play in front of that many people, but the Little Caesars Arena is similar to the Joe in a way, the ice surface and all that type of stuff, and but like just to sit there and you see the big jumbotron and the inside of the clock and what they have now, and what it's crazy, some of these arenas. So it was a fun game to be a part of for sure.
besides coaching and doing your stuff with Mel Elgin and stuff, do you ever do any other volunteer work?
Maybe just a few things here and there, but like with my kids playing, I help out with my son's team. I've helped out with my daughter's team usually, but I haven't been able to help out with her team this year. But yeah, normally, like, if someone asks me to help out with something, I'll try to do it. There was the Devilettes. They asked me to be a part of their coaching selection, and interviewing their coaches. So I ended up doing that. Uh, but I sometimes will play in some other of these charity hockey games. The NHL, PA will put on some games here and there, and help out with that. And but yeah, no, it's when I can help out at any time or with anything, I try to. Um, and yeah, a lot of the stuff's pretty fun. So I try to get involved as much as I can.
Would you give a Monday night time to come to a Special Olympics floorball practice in London?
Yeah, I could probably make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool to come see what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we started off with ringette style floor hockey. That was the very
Okay.
first Special Olympic event back in 1969 with Toronto and Chicago, and then it grew on. And 2024, the team I play for in London for Special Olympics, we went to the national games in Calgary, where we won
Oh, okay.
our our first national championship ever. We won there,
Nice.
and we were the last team to win the ringette style floor
Oh, okay.
hockey national championships before they switched over to the floorball. So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah. So that's getting good, and yeah, it would be great if you could come out and meet our team and
Yeah.
maybe
Just
help out one night.
send me some dates, and I'll see what I can do to make it work.
Folks, it was a great episode with a Stanley Cup champion of Jason Williams. Until next time, be safe, be kind. See you later.